Very much, and you're welcome, Minister, into the Chamber. I think this is the first time I've addressed you in your new role as Minister for Justice, and I think you're doing a great job since you've started in the role. And I wish you good luck for the next number of months that you're going to be there. So this topic today is about the zero tolerance of violence against women. I just want to look at some of the data in relation to the World Health Organization and its partners show that 1 in 3 women worldwide have experienced physical or sexual violence, mostly by an intimate partner, and that this number has remained largely unchanged since 2011. I was at a European Council meeting there about 2 weeks, and that number for children is 1 in 5 children receive this experience physical or sexual violence. 1 in 5 children. In Ireland, 244 women have been murdered since 1996. In resolved cases, 87% of women were killed by men known to them and 13% were killed by a stranger. Current or former male intimate partners were responsible for 57% of these resolved crime cases. Ireland's third national strategy on domestic sexual and gender-based violence was published in 28th of June 2022. And that quotes almost 1/4, 23.6% of perpetrators of sexual violence against women are adults, were intimate partners or ex-partners. Research on sex trade and its harms showed that prostitution is seriously detrimental to women's sexual, reproductive and mental health and well-being. The normalised consumption of pornography by teenagers and indeed pre-teens, I do believe, is contributing to sexual violence against women. At the same time, the ubiquitous nature of pornography and rise of porn-based online content subscription services has led to young women and girls engaging in themselves, often to make money easily and quickly. And this can be a pipeline to prostitution, which heightens the risk of experiencing sexual violence. But I also want to highlight the minority groups. Traveller women are proportionately 30 times as likely as settled women to suffer domestic violence, while migrant women are more likely than twice to suffer domestic violence than Irish women. Likewise, traveller women make up 0.5% of the Irish population, which represents 15% of all gender-based violence services. Other forms of gender-based violence include forced marriage, trafficking for the purpose of sexual exploitation, conflict-based rape and female genitalia mutilation. Now, in relation to forced marriage, I know that in some minority groups, marriages take place in this country or across the border of children aged 13. That has to stop. That is wrong. So I'd like you to look at that. FGM, first couple from the African nation, jailed for it in Ireland in early 2020 on their 1-year-old girl in Dublin. The man was facing a deportation order at the time. FGM became illegal in Ireland in 2012 when the Criminal Justice Act, female genitalia mutilation, was passed. However, the law alone is not enough to stop this practice. In fact, there is a danger that the law will drive it further underground, meaning survivors fail to receive urgent medical or social care. We need a preventative approach with interventions aimed at challenging social norms in communities where FGM has a cultural foothold. We need a national action plan on FGM which supports the training of all. Violence against women is not inherently a minority ethnic culture, nor is there any evidence that it is more prevalent. That was a journal piece, opinion piece in 2023. This is false. Political correctness is all very well and good when it's harmless veneer of politeness. But when it says that we cannot acknowledge facts, when acknowledging those facts would allow us to better help vulnerable women, then it has gone too far. Maybe I'm the odd one out, but I'd put vulnerable women's safety above anyone's sensitivities any day of the week. And protecting women's single-sex spaces is part of that, Minister, including women's refuge, including women's prisons. Each country has signed up to the Istanbul Convention agrees to provide adequate refuge space for women fleeing abuse. The Convention stipulates that the government needs to provide one refuge space for every 10,000 people living in the country, or they can provide one refuge space for every 10,000 women living in the country, providing that other services are in place to assist women in need of help. Ireland is the only country in Europe to opt for the latter, and there is currently only 140, you've addressed that today, 140 available spaces in the country, as opposed to 498 spaces that would be required. Now, you have obviously have improved it, but nothing to what it should be improved. So, TUSLA 2022 noted that while 73.6% of the populations are within a 30-minute drive to a refuge, there's a vast regional variation, and there are 9 counties that have still no refuges. So, I want to give a particular shout out today for Women's Aid, Safe Ireland, the Dublin Race Crisis, and also Men's Aid Ireland. Minister, we talked about recruiting Gardaí. And I know we're not getting enough in, but it's also the elephant in the room is in relation to integration as well. And you know, we're getting a lot of refugees, and there's a lot of talk out there, and a lot of communities are very angry about the number of single male refugees that may end up in their community. And there's a piece of education and a piece of policing that might need to be done in relation to the cultural differences that may be causing the fears within families and girls and women in these communities. And I think it's a piece that the Gardaí can work closely with your department on, with the Department of Children on. So having the Gardaí doing an educational piece on the rule of law within the land might ease the fears that we have in this community, in our country at this moment in time. Thank you.